are some exciting scenes from today's episode of Liberty's Kids.
I believe in being what you want to be, not what people tell you to be.
The British have begun moving back to Manhattan.
We absolutely must evacuate Fort Washington. The armaments at the fort are critical to our cause.
We're in a war, Joe. We're bound to lose men if you haven't the stomach for it. Get another job.
Keep firing. If we can't hold this position, you won't have the Corbins to blame.
Look at this. Jams and more jams. Oh, and rock candy. Moses and I will starve while you're in France.
Those sweets are to ease the discomfort of a long voyage.
If you try to ship out with our peach jam, you'll have to get past me first.
Congress won't be happy if you delay their most important statesman.
They would understand if they knew how good this jam tastes.
You're probably right. But they have asked Dr. Franklin to try to enlist France in the American cause.
Right now, we Americans stand alone in the world. We must acquire allies, or the revolution is doomed.
Promise me you'll bring back some French pastries.
I'm worried about him. After his last voyage, he swore he'd never cross the Atlantic again. 70 is very, very old. At his age and in his health, who knows if he'll survive the trip?
There!
Who's it from?
Sarah and James. Would you like to read it, Henri?
I couldn't possibly read through the tears in my eyes. Tears from seeing all this food for the last time.
I hope it's good news. If I'm to convince France to help us, we have to show that we can gain a victory against the British on our own.
What's wrong?
Washington is retreating from Manhattan.
Dear Mother, please forgive the irritable nature of my letter, but I'm tired and thirsty. And the men in these colonies suffer from a decided lack of gallantry. In addition, since I'm not a man, General Washington told me I couldn't stay at the front lines. He sent me to a place called Fort Tryon.
Here!
It can't be much of a fort, as I'm about to join a group of camp followers, women and children who live here with their soldiers. I'd certainly rather be viewing the action with the General and James than be here watching people wash clothes. Thank you, sir.
Nice little stroll, huh? I'm Margaret Corbin. My friends call me Molly. Who are you?
Thank you. I'm Sarah Phillips. It's good.
Of course it is. The dirt from the river adds flavor.
Oh.
I've been General Washington's secretary for months now, and I've never seen him so discouraged.
All we need is a victory, and I know the General will deliver it. He's the most decisive, commanding man I've ever met.
Lieutenant Harrison, I need you now.
Commanding is right.
English is not even my language. This here talk funny, and I can't learn to read.
Who says this?
Other boys.
Let me tell you something, Henri. It's a credo I live by. Be what you want to be, not what people tell you you can be.
Well, then stop telling me I can be a reader. What I want to be is left alone.
You owe it to yourself to hone your reading, writing, and arithmetic.
I'm doing just fine without it.
Yes, you've done well so far. You've learned a trade and a second language, and I'd like to help you keep learning.
Why?
For one thing, if you could improve your skills at estimation, we might not be short logs for the fire, and we wouldn't both be freezing our toes off.
At least we're not outside. Do you think Sarah and James are all right out in the wilderness?
Rosemary, stop wiping your nose on my dress. Ouch! This is ridiculous. I'm out in the middle of Fort Nowhere, fishing for trousers.
You're not the only one who didn't want to come here.
Oh, hello, Molly.
After my husband John enlisted, he was about to leave our place in Pennsylvania. Know what it's like to be a woman living alone in the wilderness?
I'm sure I don't.
In that wild country, I wouldn't even have been able to feed myself.
Hey, Maul! What's for supper? Some kind of shirt soup?
Better than raw squirrel or whatever it is you got stuck in your beard.
Ah, you leg puller. Raw squirrel. Probably raccoon.
It's amazing the way you keep your optimism in a place like this.
Dearie, when I was 5, my daddy was killed and my mama kidnapped. I never saw her again. If that didn't ruin my life, I'm sure not gonna let this do it.
Who's your friend, Ma?
Sarah, she's English.
Well, we won't hold that against her.
This is John. He's a matras. Cleans and loads the cannons. I'm mighty proud of him. One reason I don't mind working so hard. We can't have the man loading the cannon wear dirty drawers, can we?
What kind of cannons are they?
Pennsylvania 6-pounders, right up there on the brow of that hill. We protect the northern approach to Fort Washington. Those beauties will make things plenty tough on the lobsterbacks. I beg your pardon for the slight, Sarah.
Never mind. I quite understand.
Ignore him. John just doesn't like red. Sure am lucky he married me.
Don't let her fool you, Sarah. I'm lucky she married me.
It's not like I had lots of choices. It was either him or Squirrel Beard over there.
It's raccoon!
Dr. Franklin, the only thing you'll catch with a line that thick is influenza.
I think I've already got that. Actually, at the other end of the line is a thermometer to measure the water temperature.
I'll save you the trouble. It's cold.
I study the ocean currents and temperatures every time I cross the Atlantic. It was these studies that helped me chart the Gulf Stream 7 years ago.
Just don't let your studies interfere with your health. It's my job to get you to France alive. How are you feeling?
I'm not sleeping well in these rough seas, and the food, particularly the salt beef, is tough on 70-year-old teeth. But the fresh air seems to do me some good. However, I'd prefer to avoid the frequent baths.
Gentlemen, I have surprising news. The British have begun moving back to Manhattan. I suspect they're mobilizing to attack Fort Washington. Our last stronghold in Manhattan. It houses some of our finest troops and a large amount of our armaments and ammunition. This fort and its outposts are critically important to the war for both sides.
Sarah's at one of those outposts.
Yes, your friend who wanted to see action is about to get her wish.
Swab cannon!
Load powder.
Load ball!
Ram it home.
Cannon ready to fire!
Molly, how brave you are.
She's the best artillery mate in the whole regiment.
I can't believe you're permitted to do such a thing.
I don't ask permission to do nothing. I believe in being what you want to be, not what people tell you to be.
I know someone else who shares your point of view.
Je ne connais pas les mots. I can't read the recipe. I'm starved to death. Who is there?
Henri?
Moses, is that you?
What's wrong, lad?
Nothing's wrong.
Come on, son, tell me.
When you didn't come back, I tried to make dinner.